Hello, fellow Rotarians and guests. I'm Lori Alton, and I'm honored to serve as your club president for the Rotary year 2021-2022. The Rotary Club of Columbus has a storied past, beginning in 1915, when a group of civic-minded people saw the need for leaders to come together to find ways to make our community better. And now, 106 years later, we're a vibrant, strong club that continues to place service above self. Our club is diverse, with members across all sectors of business, government, military, healthcare, education, nonprofit and community service, ministry, and the arts. And we come together each week as friends with a shared purpose of learning how we can be more involved in the things that matter to all of us. And we leave committed to changing our community and changing lives. As Rotarians, we are people of action, and it shows. So welcome back to Rotary. Thank you for being here, and thank you for making a difference in our community. Well, hello and welcome to the February 9th meeting of the Rotary Club of Columbus. It's so wonderful to look out here and see a practically full room. And then for those of you joining us online, a warm welcome to you as well. And now would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I would like to ask Reggie Thompson to please bring us today's invocation in accordance with his faith tradition. Reggie.
Thank you, Laurie. In recognition of Black History Month, I would like to pay respect to the first African American to become a part of the Columbus Rotary Club, and that is Dr. M. Delmar Edwards. Let us go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for all that you do for us. We thank you for your many blessings. Continue to watch over this club, each and every member, in a special way. Bless the food that we are receiving. Let it be nourishment and strength for our bodies. This I do pray in thy Son Jesus' name. Amen. Please remember to give to your Feed the Hungry cans that are on your tables.
And now it's my pleasure to call on Cedric Hill II to bring us today's news.
Good afternoon. Here's a look at a couple of headlines. A local Columbus organization, the Assemble to Serve, opened its doors on Tuesday for a monthly food giveaway. Since the spring of 2017, their goal has been to end food security in our area, with the food pantry taking place on the second Tuesday of every month. They're based out of Beth Salem Presbyterian Church on St. Mary's Road in Columbus. Each family goes home with food boxes that retailed between $75 and $250. I hope you all know that Valentine's Day is next Monday. Spending is expected to reach $23.9 billion this year, up from $21.8 billion in 2021, which was the second highest year on record, according to the annual survey released today by the National Retail Federation and Prosper Insights in Analytics. More than half of the U.S. consumers plan to celebrate the holiday in 2022. More than three-quarters of those celebrating indicate it is important to do so given the current state of the pandemic. And you just heard Reggie mention that February is Black History Month, which is a month to educate ourselves and celebrate the contributions of African Americans to the history and development of our country. Unfortunately, the FBI is currently investigating bomb threats made against 27 historically Black colleges and universities across the United States, which has prompted many of them to temporarily cancel classes and lock down their campuses. These threats started on February 1st, coincidentally, which is the first day of Black History Month. And the most recent happened yesterday at Spelman College, right up the road from us here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a graduate of a Black college, and so they are very near and dear to me. And so I would ask that you include these institutions, the students, the faculty, and the leaders in your prayers for their safety against racism and hatred, and that a spirit of unity would rise in our nation. The weather forecast for today is clear and sunny. It's a beautiful day with a high of 63 and a low of 35. It was freezing this morning. And fun fact, today, February 9th, is National Pizza Day. So I implore you to indulge in the cheesy deliciousness of a slice or maybe like 5. Enjoy the meeting.
Thank you, Cedric. I promise to do my part for National Pizza Day. And now it's my pleasure to call on Michael Tullier to please introduce today's visiting Rotarians and guests. Michael.
Thank you, President Lori. First, we'll introduce our visiting Rotarians. Traveling all the way from the North Columbus Club is Kia Chambers. Kia, if you'll stand. Thank you for being with us today. Our guests include Levi Wolf, who is the grandson of Cecil Sheaves. And the guest, or Scott Pearson, is the guest of Walter Calhoun. Scott has previously volunteered for Wake for Warriors, and we'll learn more about that program later on. Thank you, President Lori.
Wonderful. A warm welcome to all of our visiting Rotarians and guests. And just as an interesting note, Kia is actually President-elect of the North Columbus Rotary Club. So congratulations. You know, it's always an honor each week when we welcome a military guest. And so at this time, I would like to call on Tom Waynick, President nominee, to please introduce today's Colonel Ralph Puckett, Jr., Soldier of the Week.
It's my privilege to introduce to you Sergeant First Class Christopher Wagenmaker. He's a 19 Delta Cav Scout, serves as the Chief Instructor at the 215th Cav Squadron out at the 194th Armored Brigade. He has served in many leadership roles as a Cav Scout, NCO, to include driver, gunner, team leader, squad leader, operations NCO, instructor, and chief instructor. He has one combat deployment in support of Operation Inherent Resolve in Iraq. He has all the requisite military courses and schools. His awards and decorations include the Army Commendation Medal with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, the Army Achievement Medal with 4 Oak Leaf Clusters, the Meritorious Unit Citation, among others. He also has the Order of St. George, which is the patron saint of armor. And Sergeant First Class Wagenmaker was born in Holland, Michigan. He grew up on a farm, and he joined the Army in July of 2009 and did his one-station unit training at Fort Knox. He has served at Fort Bragg and also at Grafenwehr, Germany, and is currently here with us at Fort Benning. I want to say welcome today, and here's a certificate in honor of your presence today. And that to you. Yeah. This here is Passport Arts and gives you tickets to the River Center, the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, the National Infantry Museum, the CSU Theater, and the Springer. Oh. So enjoy that.
Thank you,
you
sir.
take somebody with you.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a Rotary coin.
Thank you, sir.
And finally, I'd like to present to you Colonel Ralph Puckett's book, Words for Warriors. And there's a little note in there for you. And we appreciate your service to the country and all that you do. And keep you and all soldiers in our prayers every day. So thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for inviting me out here this week. I hope everyone enjoys the lunch. Thank you.
Sergeant First Class Wagenmaker, I just want to add that we are so thrilled to have you here, and please take back to all the men and women who serve alongside you our warmest wishes and gratitude for all that you do. And please come back and join us again soon. You know, it's always a great day at Rotary when we can introduce to you a new member, but today we have not one, but 2 new members, and so it's my pleasure to ask Chuck Heck to introduce our newest Rotarians.
Thank you, President Lori. First, new Rotarian, his name is Ben Taylor. I will say I know him all of his life because he's my sister's son. Laurie. He is a UGA graduate, bachelor's degree, works at Wells Fargo Advisory for 7 years, His current title is financial advisor. He has a son, Charles, plays for Concord Fire Soccer. He used to be a member of the Harris County Rotary Club from 2014 to 2016, so he knows the requirement of having to come to Rotary. Grew up in Eufaula, Alabama, and his favorite teams, naturally, are UGA, Atlanta United, and the Atlanta Braves. Ben Taylor. And my next new member is Britt Hayes. Britt received his undergraduate and accounting degree from Auburn University and his MBA from Troy University. He has been a controller and CFO around the town for more than 20 years. Last 10 years, he's been with the Hospital Authority of Columbus and now the CEO of Hospital Authority of Columbus. His wife, Jennifer, and just so you know, I've known Britt a long time, but I didn't know Jennifer's name. All he does is call her Sweetie. So I had to call him and ask him, what's her name? She runs product development division for the international company known as GKI. They have 3 sons, Sloan, who's in the Air Force in Alaska, Sutton, who works with the state trucking and lives in Auburn, and Kaysen, who's the youngest, is part of a professional ballet training program in North Carolina, which is a very exclusive program, and he just got awarded one of the top young ballet people coming up, so it's quite an award. Britt, welcome.
So Britt and Ben, it's such a pleasure to welcome you to the Rotary Club as our newest members. And as you probably already know, you join a club that has a very long history. Over 100 years we've been in existence. In fact, we were club number 200 out of over 35,000 clubs around the world. So it's a pleasure to have you both here. You make our club stronger. We look forward to getting to know you and working alongside you. Welcome. And now I would like to ask Cedric Hill to please come up and share some information about an upcoming event related to our competitive and district grant.
Thank you, President Lori, and fellow members of the Rotarian Club. You probably saw me up here a few minutes ago. It was a test of how excited I am to make this announcement. I was all out of order, but nevertheless, many of you have heard that through the club with the competitive grant that we've embarked upon what's called midnight basketball. And midnight basketball is intended to pull young people off the streets in the wee hours of the night, but also to engage them in a relationship within the confines of the community that will help them build and grow and develop into what we consider to be good citizens in our community itself. So we launched this process, and I want you to take out your calendar. Let me say it this way. Some of you take out your devices, others take out your pen and pencil, because what I want you to do is put me on your calendar. This is going to be the beginning of something that will start now and will culminate going forward, probably even up until June. But this month on the 22nd of February, which is a Tuesday, and the 24th of February, which is a Thursday, at 6 o'clock p.m., from 6 to 7 p.m., we're going to start with, and the theory behind midnight basketball is this: no workshop, no jump shot. So in order to facilitate the program, the young people have got to go through workshops. So our workshops start Tuesday the 22nd, which will be at Startup Columbus, 1190 Front Avenue. How many of y'all are familiar where that is? If not, put 1190 Front Avenue. The first presenter actually will be our own Ryan Clemens, which we felt like would be very captivating to the young people for his wizardry and videography and so on and so forth. And then on the 24th, we're going to actually have Ben McMahon, which will give some high school juniors a tour of what Startup Columbus is all about. The reason why I'm wanting you to take out your calendars to be a part of that is because we're looking at facilitating this even beyond this month, probably even up until June. So some of you I've spoken to, and I will speak to others. But as a club, we want the community to be introduced to the club and the club to be introduced to the community itself. If you have further questions, you can reach out to myself or President Lori or Reggie Lewis, or even Ryan Clemens and Ben McMahon. But I wanted you to be aware of that, and I don't necessarily want to get into questions and answers, but if you have questions, I'll be here. I'll be happy to answer those questions, but please put that on your calendars. We're looking for you to be there so that you can see the format and see how you potentially can contribute to this worthy cause as we begin to move forward with becoming better relations in our community right here in Columbus. Thank you, President Laurie.
Thank you, President-elect Cedric. We look forward to it. I only have a couple of announcements today. I do want to draw your attention to the cards on your tables about our upcoming district conference. It will be at Sandestin, April the 28th through May the 1st. The weather promises to be beautiful, the food is always delicious, and the fellowship is even better. So please plan to be there. And then just a reminder that our next Zoom happy hour is tomorrow evening from 6 to 8. So please hop on for a few minutes or the entire 2 hours and join us for some Rotary fellowship. You don't even have to wear a mask, okay? So joining me today at the head table, we have Reggie Thompson, who brought us our invocation. And now it's my pleasure to ask Mac Plummer to please introduce today's speaker.
Thank you, President Laurie and fellow Rotarians. How many of you have heard of Wake for Warriors? Okay, yeah, some of you we've asked to support it, but Scott Pearson has been involved. Dickie and Kay Saunders have. Several years ago, a friend of ours asked Rachel and me if we, and speaking of that, reminded me next week, Monday is Valentine's Day, but Wednesday's my anniversary, so I need to put that on my calendar too. But some friends asked us if we wanted to get involved with Wake for Warriors, and we said, sure, what's that? By the end of this meeting, I hope you will know what Wake for Warriors is as well. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you Dave Deep, who started Wake for Warriors. He hails from Huntsville, Alabama, which is one of the biggest towns in the South with very few Southerners in it. He says that's because you have to do math. Live in the Rocket City. But as I said, Dave is the founder of Wake for Warriors. It's a nationwide water sports therapy program for injured veterans, and it's based at Lake Harding. Dave is a veteran himself. He served in the Marines for more than 28 years, and including 2 deployments to Afghanistan, finished his career as a lieutenant colonel, a naval aviator with a bachelor's degree from Auburn in aviation management. He flew over 250 combat missions in the H-1 attack helicopter, earning numerous personal decorations, including the MSM, the Meritorious Service Medal, and 6 air medals with Combat V device. After leaving active service, Dave became a commercial airline pilot and has been a first officer for Delta Airlines for 14 years, currently flying the Airbus 320. Now, my brother-in-law went to Air Force Academy and flew Airbuses, and now he's driving a school bus back in South Alabama. But that's an inside military academy joke. Dave knew personally how difficult it is for veterans returning from war and began Wake for Warriors in 2012 as a weekend outreach when he wasn't flying trips for Delta. Wake for Warriors' mission is to connect with veterans by sharing the healing powers of life on the water. They host 4-day events that focus on overcoming challenges, creating bonds, and a community that supports participants long after they leave the lake. Wake for Warriors hosted 30 events across the country in 2021, including adaptive wake surfing competitions, a division of the National Pro Athlete events that Dave has advocated for and helped develop. Dave has an incredible passion for these people who have sacrificed for our country, and I think you'll pick up on that when he does his presentation about Wake for Warriors. And I hope that after this, any of you who want to get involved will take the opportunity to do that. Thank you for help me welcome Dave Deep. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Mac. I really appreciate that introduction, and thank you for being an example of the volunteer spirit that the Rotary Club embodies. You and Rachel have come out a number of times during the Wake for Warriors events here and get up every morning, do some breakfast, and the most important thing that you do is relate to the folks that come out there and make them feel like they're at home. So thank you for that. I did not know that today was pizza day. That's awesome. Also, did you know that in this day in history, in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell made his first phone call? That's correct. And 20 minutes later, he got a phone call telling him that his auto warranty was about to expire. All right, just wanted to talk to you about Wake for Warriors, and Mac introduced kind of what the idea of it is. Boats in water. This is our 2021 Nautique G23 boat. I don't know if you recognize that as a tip of the hat to the Tuskegee Airmen. It's patterned after the P-51 that the Tuskegee Airmen flew. So we'll be flying those colors all year to kind of preserve the history and talk about their contributions to the service of this nation. As Max said, our mission, connect, share, celebrate, and serve. We do this a number of times across the country, 14 states currently this year. And really, it's just a way to get people together. It's a great platform for people to relax, get together, have a great time, and then hopefully make connections to the point where if they need something, if they need a job, they just lost their job or whatever, we can kind of steer them in the right direction. If they're trying to start a company or a business, we can kind of point them in the right direction. And also, when they get that phone call that something's gone wrong or they're just not doing well, hopefully we'll be there on the other end. What's in the wake? Generally, just we know that the scars of war are both internal and external. And what we try to do is just be there for them. And there's a number of ways we can do that. Just connect with them, connect them with the community, all over the country, their communities, in those job placement areas, and also just be a resource for them. Principles of what we do: we try to create a family environment. We kind of stay away from the whole circus / parade mentality. Just be there. Our philosophy is, hey, we want you to come over and hang out with us for the weekend. And we kind of treat you like family. By the end, when they come in on Thursday, everybody's a little bit nervous, like, hey, I've never done this kind of wakeboarding. What is wakeboarding? What is surfing? They're kind of, well, can I do it? I don't have any legs. What am I going to do now? From that Thursday to Sunday, the transformation is pretty epic. And our goal is to get them to feel like they're part of this family, this Wake for Warriors family, so they can come back, do it again, compete, be part of the program. And again, when they're not doing well, and those thoughts creep into their heads, they can pick up that phone and call somebody to talk them off the ledge. A couple of examples of what our riders are saying. Their experiences are really what compels me to keep doing this. Derek he recently came off of active duty, had done a couple of deployments, and he didn't know where he fit in. He moved to a new city, didn't know a lot of people. We helped him connect with other veterans that were local, and then he's continued to come out and participate. Tony was my first Wake for Warriors guinea pig. I met him at a Marine Corps birthday ball in 2012. I walked up to him and said, hey, I have this crazy idea. I want to teach you how to wakeboard. Tony's a double amputee. He looked at me kind of funny, like, do you know what you're doing? And honestly, neither one of us knew what we were doing. But between the two of us, we figured it out. And Tony is now on our board. He competes during the summer at national competitions. And he's also a guide to kind of keep people in check in terms of like making sure that we're doing things right from his perspective, from a veteran's perspective, injured, and just keeping me straight. Tyler was probably one of my most difficult challenges. Tyler at 24 fell out of a helicopter and was paralyzed. And it took about almost the entire day to get him up on the board. We have a specially designed seat that he sits in, and he struggled. What I didn't know is before he came to this Wake for Warriors event, he was contemplating suicide. And he said that the only thing that saved him was hanging out with his fellow military folks and veterans. And then from there, that was 4 years ago, Tyler is now competing in national competitions. He's won a few of them. He's also a great boat driver, and he travels with me all over the country, teaching other veterans how to do these things. Unfortunately, every time I take Tyler somewhere, they want him to come back, so kind of stuck with him now. We have a number of partners. Basically, this just to let you know that there are a number of companies out there that actually care about what we're doing in terms of serving veterans and each other. This sport is not an inexpensive sport. It's quite expensive. So we have people that provide us a boat and a truck to pull it with, the gear and all that. But also we have other organizations that we work with because we're a fairly small organization, but we can tap into the resources of these bigger organizations such as Camp Southern Ground and Team Simplify. They have a lot of resources as far as counseling and other ways to get these veterans what they need. Now I have a short video. Well, it's about 10 minutes. It's from, it was produced with Kyle Carpenter, who is the youngest Medal of Honor, living Medal of Honor recipient. And Kyle came down about in June of last year, fell in love with the program, and now he's on the board as well. So he made this video after he came to Lake Harding, and I think it kind of encapsulates what we're doing.
I can't do it. This is a story about people who never let their circumstances define their fate. People who harness the challenges of life to become better and achieve the unknown potential of life. They change the 4 worst words into the 4 best ones. I'll never give up. Hey, what's up everyone? It's about 4 a.m., about to rally the troops, make some coffee, and begin our 7-hour road trip down to Alabama, where for the next couple of days, we're going to be driving some beautiful boats, teaching some people how to surf, and hanging out with some incredible warriors. I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm pumped. Let the adventure begin.
Hey, chickens? Chickens? I wasn't expecting that.
As we arrived, we were greeted by Dave, a Marine Corps combat pilot with over 250 missions and the creator of Wake for Warriors. He graciously gave us the tour as he shared the mission of Wake for Warriors and why he does what he does. While Alabama is Dave's home, he drives to a different state, towing a massive nautique boat every month and sometimes every weekend to give our wounded warriors and their loved ones an opportunity to surf. Surfing, he said, is you versus nature, and there are no excuses. If you fail, you can't blame anyone but yourself. But when you succeed, you know it was all because you pushed through. This type of challenge is great to restore confidence in people who have been knocked down in the past. To show us what he meant, he brought out some veterans he had previously taught. And, well, I'll just let you watch.
Oh, I don't know how to back down, how to back down. No, I don't know how to back down, how to back down. No, I don't know how to back down, how to back down. I am a fighter. 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 I am a fighter.
That was amazing. Thank you, fellas.
Returned back to the dock, we were greeted by the rest of the Wake for Warriors family, who we were going to be teaching how to surf over the next few days. As we ate together, we learned about each other's unique and powerful journeys. Optimism and great vibes were the only thing present. After sharing a few more laughs, we were shown our place to stay for the night, which was an epic house on Lake Harding. Wake for Warriors has become so well known in the area that local people offer up their homes to show their support for our military and the Wake for Warriors events. To the owners who let us stay at your beautiful home, thank you. As we stood on the dock watching the sun go down, talking about how creepy it is to swim at night. So of course, we had to do this. Come on, Mike, come on. Staying on character with his previous generosity, Dave offered to take us to breakfast in style.
get up and
Little people. Wait, still good? Extra large.
You're in the men's department over here. You got to go to children's on the lunch.
Rise with the Silver Surfer. After a solid face plant for an appetizer, we met up with the rest of the crew to eat a great breakfast while preparing for the epic day ahead. Bro, monster bro.
Did you put on sunblock? Okay, cool.
As people continued to fall, Dave continued to encourage and coach for the next try. Unfortunately, it seemed some of the injuries might be too bad to surf with. After falling over and over, it looked like it may be time to give up. Then, like it does a lot of times in life, magic happened.
I'd say the best thing for me for the last 10 years is hearing the stories of these incredible veterans that have done just amazing things. And getting to know their story and getting to know them not just as the person that showed up with one leg, but as Tony or, somebody that just didn't think that they could do it. And then they turn around and just surprise you. I never put limitations on anybody again. That's one thing I've learned in the last 10 years. So with that, if I have any questions or if you want to know how you can get involved, I'll be happy to tell you. But wakeforwarriors.org is probably your first stop. We're looking for volunteers to help serve. Of course, we can use financial donations. It's an all-volunteer organization. Nobody has ever gotten paid to do this financially. We get paid in smiles and hugs. So with that, any questions?
Are you a 501c?
Yes, sir. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, so your donations are tax deductible.
Dave, as a former patient of the Shepherd Center in Atlanta, Georgia, I'm not sure if you're aware or familiar with Shepherd.
Yes.
Large catastrophic care hospital for head and spinal cord injury, and huge supportive system of our soldiers coming back. Have you guys ever teamed up with Shepherd to do an event?
We have not teamed up with them, but I've worked with some of the people on their staff. And a lot of our, like you said, catastrophically injured veterans have come through there, and they do some amazing work. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions?
Tell us about the boat that you use and how it creates the wake.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to know more about the boat that you use and how it creates the wake that you have.
So it's a special boat. The propeller is underneath the boat, so you don't have any risk of running into it, first of all. It's called a wake boat, and luckily we have a number of them on the lakes that we go to, because we certainly can't afford all of them. They're quite expensive, and people donate their boat and their time and their gas for these boats for a couple of days. So we really appreciate that. But the boat specifically, the way it creates a wave is there is a device that comes out the one side of it, and it creates a drag along with additional weight in the boat. There's about 2,000 pounds of water that you add to the boat to create displacement, and that creates the wave. There's a lot of other scientific gadgetry in there that I can't really explain. I just push buttons and it's magic.
The video mentioned that you go to several lakes, not just Harding. What are some of the other locations that you host over that?
The question, I can repeat the question. The question is about what other locations. Yeah, we are based in Lake Harding, but in Georgia, Lake Allatoona. We've been to Lake Lanier, though it's kind of crazy up there, so we haven't been up there in a number of years. But we're pretty much coast to coast from Maryland. We have a big presence in Washington State. There's 4 or 5 events that we do there. Texas. We have a few chapters in those key locations: Washington State, Texas, Indiana, and the Carolinas, along with here in the Southeast. So 14 states, mostly Southeast, and then scattered across the country. People have just found out about us and they want to get involved, and we kind of spool them up, and they gather the local communities and do it all for nothing. All right, thank you.
Dave, I'm still a little speechless just to hear about everything that you've done. It's been 10 years, and just all that you've done. I'm absolutely speechless. Thank you. And to commemorate your visit here today, we will put a children's book inscribed with your name in our local public library. So just a quick reminder that there will be a replay of today's program on our Facebook page, as well as a YouTube link that you'll be receiving. And I also want to re-welcome all of our visiting Rotarians, our guests, and particularly Sergeant First Class Wagenmaker. We're so happy you could be here. Reminder about our Zoom happy hour tomorrow starts at 6. And For those of you who have not picked up your directory, still in the back, we will chase you down. You won't want to miss next week's program. We're going to have the Chief of Police, Freddie Blackman, here with the Columbus Police Department. So until we meet again next week, let's continue to make a difference.